Neal and a new special ed teacher. Be in 8th grade now. First marking period. Old special ed teacher quit for personnel. I personally think she couldn't just handle the wrath of Neal. This year there is quite a special class you can take if you're interested in using a period of your table to help the tards. Obviously I signed up in order to be with Neal, so I can make sure if any more hilarity ensues. Walk into the Tard HQ that day, and there is a new teacher. She's young, seems really to enjoy what she's doing. Everything looks as if it's been going well for a while. Her day is about to take a very unexpected turn for the worst. I'm sitting down on the carpet with Neal, helping him read a book on Dr. Zeus. This kid really fucking loves Dr. Zeus. Neal doesn't understand what half the words mean, so I do my best to help him by explaining the meanings. We come across a word that neither of us know. Neal thinks that I am not telling him because I want him to figure it out for himself, which I did sometimes, just because I made it feel better for him than just me telling him. Neal is getting very frustrated, and for the first time is directed at me, and not someone else. Oh god, please help me, .jpg. I do my best to calm him, but he's stuck in that one thought, that I know what it means. Neal engages in a mighty Raptor burst roll. For you new guys in here, it means he's about to wreck shit. I am going to die. It doesn't matter that I was half a foot taller than him. I was scared shitless. Everybody except for the teacher knows what's about to happen. They just watch in horror as there is nothing they can do. Teacher runs over thinking she can help. Bad idea. Neal engages Raptor screech, enraging his Tard brethren. James is on the floor pissing himself. The others are throwing shit at each other in utter rage that Neal screeches and invokes. The teacher gets hit with a stapler, travelling at speeds previously unseen by man. KO! Neal now turns towards me and stops his screech momentarily to talk. Tell me what it means, pal. In description I tell him that it is a bad word that nobody's supposed to say. Neal believes me entirely. He goes the rest of his life, as far as I know, conceived that Ackerman is as bad as the word fuck. All of his anger immediately disappears. He gives me that toothy grin and simply sits back down if I had just shared a secret with him. I sit down next to him. He whispers to me, Don't worry, I won't tell anyone what Ackerman means. Okay, Neal. Tard wranglers burst in through the door. One carries Neal and the other carries the teacher to the nurse's office. As Neal is exiting the Tard HQ, his toothy grin remains. Bye, Pooh! She has no idea what the fuck he's getting into. Neal brings his pet turtle to school. Be in 8th grade still. Still in the first marking period. The new teacher thinks that it'd be a wonderful idea for people to bring in things to show to the class every day it's a different student. Today it happens to be Neal's turn. He brings in his pet turtle Jimmy to show to the class. Everything seems to be going well for show and tell. Neal is passing around the turtle for people to hold. I mean, it's a fucking turtle. What could happen, right? Seeing as nothing that is good is going on, I leave and go to the bathroom. I take a piss, and probably what is 3 minutes. It was a very long piss. I walk back into the class and utter chaos has ensued. Neal is screaming, Jimmy! Jimmy, where are you? While one of the Tards is crying in the corner. I'm assuming Neal let loose a short screech for a second to get everyone's attention. The turtle was gone apparently. He was lost among all the handling around. Do you hear me? They lost a fucking turtle. I run up to Neal asking him what's wrong. Jimmy is gone! Okay Neal, calm down. I'll find Jimmy. I start looking around. I search fucking everywhere! The turtle is nowhere to be found. All of a sudden, that fucker James walks in. He's got a big retarded grin on his face, and he's been gone since right after I left. Neal immediately catches on and commences the Tard screech. Shit goes from chaos to pure clusterfuck in seconds. Not only is Jimmy, the fucking turtle, gone now, but I have to deal with the raging mob of Tards in a closed space. I scream to James all over the chaos. Where is Jimmy? My ears hurt! James is now crying and is of no use. I see a sliver of green in the back of the room in the corner of my eye. I investigate the site. It is Jimmy the fucking turtle, halfway under a beanbag. He was sitting there the entire time. I pick him up and present him to Neal, who is overcome with happiness to have Jimmy back. Jimmy, thanks, Pill! The new teacher isn't able to handle shit. He's just sitting in the corner of the room. Neal's screech may have stopped, but the Tard rage hasn't. A Tard finds a stapler, yet again, and boom! It connects with Mrs. Springer, right while breaking the sound barrier. Out cold. Tard wranglers burst into the room, subdue the Tards. Neal is perfectly fine, so he's left at the Tart HQ this time, but apparently it was my fault Jimmy was lost. I am dragged out by the principal, accompanied by the Wranglers. The last thing I see is Neal, sitting there in the corner with Jimmy. Bye, Pam! I got a fucking week detention. Neal and the secret admirer. So in Neal's class there was one Jody. Jody was above average height, ugly as fuck, half-functioning tard who always wore these fucking berets. She was as annoying as fuck, but every day, all she would ever do is make blatant lies. And she knew nobody believed her, but I mean, she had to. One time she said she was related to Leonardo da Vinci, and she said she's had some stuff autographed by him. And she's fucking Irish. But I digress. So it turns out that she secretly has a crush on Neal. I found this out in a rather frightening way though. One day, during gym was the only class integrated, I was cornered by Jody and a nasty fucking odour. Seriously, the girl didn't know how to use deodorant. I swear her stench could counteract fucking Saddam's mustard gas. So, she cornered me in the gym and whispers in my ear.
Pill, you're friends with Neal, right?
Yeah? What about it?
Do you think he might like me?
I immediately did a little duck and ran to the safety of my decent smelling friends. Later on that day, when I saw Phil, I asked him if he liked Jody.
Jody is gross. She smelled like Jimmy's pee.
I laughed and dropped the subject because it obviously would never happen. As I left the Tart HQ, I go to my next class and I was cut off by Jody.
So what did you say to Pill?
Sorry, he doesn't like you.
What?
Ah shit, not again. Jody runs over towards Neal at the pace of a muscular dystrophy child. She begins screaming in some kind of high-pitched tone, almost like her own Raptor roar, but nowhere near the magnitude of Neal's. Neal takes this as a challenge, and releases the most mind-deafening retard screech I've heard yet. Jody is cut off mid-screen. The power of Neal's is just overwhelming. The tards go batshit instantly, as if it was World War Tard and it had hit the Tard HQ. Mrs. Springer is now a little better at handling the situation, but she was nowhere near capable of handling this. This time she has the common sense to get under the desk before the stapler and her head have a collision that rivals the power of... I try to calm Neal down, but it is futile. The Tard Wrangler family arrive, before the Tards reach full-on Hulk mode and are able to restrain him. Neal stops his screech, seeing the situation is no longer requires it, as Jody is subdued. The Wrangler picks him up and carry him out of the Tard HQ yet again. I wave at Neal, but he's carried out by the floor, peacefully, as he is every time it happens. Bye, Pooh!